Lots of reaction.
Okay, thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Media Watch, for which we are joined by James Creedon. Hiya, James.
Good evening, Georgia.
Okay, so a lot of media reaction, both for and against, for the decision to award the Nobel Peace Prize to the EU.
Right, lots of reaction online, and this is one I just found a couple of moments ago. Libertas, it's an anti-EU, or at least it was anti the Nice Treaty, anti the Constitutional Treaty, etc. Party in Ireland, and here they have a certificate for every member of the European Union as one of the 500,000 winners of the Nobel Prize. There you go, so a little certificate to celebrate it on a sort of, what would you say, kind of a broader scale. This was a tweet by Channel 4 News, which I think is actually quite interesting because they did a capture of their European Union page on the day that the European Union got the Nobel Peace Prize. And if you look down through it, indeed, it is a lot of doom and gloom on Channel 4's page. Greek police clashing, Spanish government set to unveil more cuts, clashes in Greece, etc. So I suppose a sign of the times and a sign of a lot of bad things going on across Europe as this prize is handed out. Now, I asked people for some reaction on social media as well and on Facebook. And here, Martina Spanjolka said, "We might not have a phone number, but we have a Nobel Peace Prize up yours, Henry." That's a reference to Henry Kissinger when he famously said that the European Union didn't have a phone number. She also said that she was on her way from Brussels to Paris in a high-speed train, gazing out the window at the quiet plains on which thousands of young Europeans slaughtered each other less than 100 years ago. A sign, I suppose, of how far Europe has come, thanks in part to the European institutions. Now, one other tweet just to show on the back of that, we just saw about Henry Kissinger. "The Nobel Prize for Peace is a joke. It should be abolished considering people who won it." That includes Henry Kissinger back in 1973.
Okay, and what about the prize money? I'm guessing that the EU could probably find a few ways of putting that to use.
That's right. There have been a few comments about that, and here's one. "Good. Now throw the prize money down the Greek endless debt pit." So one person saying, while all of this European money is going to bail out certain countries, that prize money is coming in at the same time. Check out this cartoon by Libération, the newspaper Libération, the Nobel Peace Prize for the European Union. And there's a speech bubble with that as well, saying, well, so much for the Nobel for economics. We're not really getting that, are we? Because there's also a Nobel Prize for economics. Two more comments about the actual prize money. One person who made the calculation that it's actually less than 0.002 of a cent per EU citizen. And I quite liked this comment. I wonder if the EU will take the Peace Prize money, quit their job and just travel Europe for a year to find themselves. I think the EU travelling Europe would be a bit weird.
Be an interesting conundrum.
Yes.
Now, there have also been some comments that expressing consternation over the fact that the prize has been awarded not to a person but to an institution.
That's right. This is by Owen Butler, an Irish user of Twitter. "This Nobel Prize award is going right on my CV." Another European citizen who wants to, take the benefit for it. "After Time Magazine Person of the Year 2006. Now, what was Time Magazine Person of the Year 2006? It was you. It was you, Georgia.
Who thought it was so easy to get so many achievements under your belt?
There you go.
Brilliant.
Lots of comments.
What about what's been the reaction amongst European media?
All right, well, this is Press Europe's page. Now, they've had a look at some of the European media. For example, Süddeutsche Zeitung, that's the Munich-based German paper. They've said, hold on a minute, a Europe on the brink of economic collapse. The Nobel Committee needs to think about its long-term credibility if they're giving a prize to that. They've also looked at El País, who said it was unexpected, given that Norway, where the prize is handed out in part, Norway's refusal to join the EU club themselves. And finally, RTP, that's the Portuguese state broadcaster, they said the prize couldn't come at a better time for governments and leaders in European institutions, so they may think again on how to avoid a collapse of Europe. So good timing for them. Just one other comment here from the Daily Telegraph, famously Eurosceptic paper. Their columnist here, Ian Martin, says that it's beyond parody to give the prize to the EU and points out in the caption here there are words to describe what is going on across Europe, but it's peaceful isn't one of them. Now, I think one thing worth finishing on is this cartoon by Le Monde, the Le Monde cartoonist Plantu. Now, this cartoon dates back to 2002. Plantu shared it again today on the occasion of the European Union getting the Nobel Peace Prize. Up on the top of that cartoon, you've got I presume, a Roman scene, a scene from ancient Rome and war and bloodshed. You've got Europe in Napoleonic Europe, I think. Here, World War II. What's the common trend there? War, bloodshed, massacres, etc. And here at the bottom, you've got Europe and the polling booth. So the way in which the European Union moved, a very violent continent, it has to be said, towards some degree of peace and democracy. So that's his point of view. That's Plontu drawing attention to that today.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. James Creedon there with our Media Watch Roundup. Okay, stay with us. More news coming up, including the UN Security Council vote to back a resolution giving West African nations 45 days to draw up a detailed military plan for intervention in Mali.